Right, welcome back guys to another video, and what I've got for you today is a BMW M5. Now these things are well renowned for being supercar killers, and honestly it's such a mega car, mega car. It's a 2013 F10 model, so it's the first of the twin turbocharged V8s. It's a 4.4 twin turbo V8 and such a monster. Seriously, this car is an absolute beast. What we'll do is we'll go for a little walk around the car, show you a couple of bits and bobs that it's had done, and then we'll go for a little drive, the usual sort of routine. And yeah, hope you enjoy the video guys. Seriously, such a mega car this. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles, for more performance car reviews. We're on Instagram as well, performance_lifestyles, and Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out, help us grow. You know, appreciate all the help that we've been getting so far, and yeah, just carry on with it, help us grow. We'll catch you outside the car. So here it is, folks, the F10 BMW M5. Such a stunning car. It's a proper monster, even to look at. I know some people say they look very similar to a normal, you know, diesel, even M Sport version, but no, you can tell. They're so, it's the brakes, it's the whole, you know, the big wheels, the vents on the side. They are a very discreet sort of car, so if you're not a car person, you will miss it. But I mean, look at this thing. And I'm sure most of the viewers on here will be car people, so you can tell. Such a stunning example. Now on the outside, what it's had done is it's got a Maxton design front splitter, which really does set off the front end. The front end is very aggressive as it is. As you can see, it's all these big vents here. The kidney grills, they've been replaced with black ones. I believe they're not black as standard. The big vent at the bottom, and I think it's got an intercooler there. Obviously the Maxton design splitter, which really does set it off, and by xenon directional sort of headlights. And it's just, even when you're standing next to this thing, I mean, it's, you know, the bonnet is very tall, and the front end is very big on them. They're just a big overall car. Honestly, they're such a big car, but this is what they're all about. These are luxury supercar killers. So you get your family in there, and the thing is, when you want to, you got 560 odd brake horsepower on under your right foot. Well, they're the claimed figures on a standard car, but I'm sure I've read a fair few bits and bobs about these cars where on a dyno, a standard car's produced, you know, near enough 600 brake horsepower. Now 600 horsepower from a 4-door family saloon. Perfect. So as you can see, twin exhausts on either side. This has got Akrapovic carbon tips on it, but it is a custom stainless steel exhaust system on this, and that is the only sort of noise modification that this car has. And I must admit, the roar that this thing makes is absolutely phenomenal. It's finished off in Singapore grey, like anthracite style refurbished wheels, Michelin tyres on them. A couple of little things that they've left at chrome sort of door handle trims, which I think look well. I'm not a big fan of the chrome window surrounds, whereas this one hasn't actually got them. It has got the Performance Lifestyle decal on there. Check us out, subscribe to our channel, help us grow, folks. And I mean, just look at the size of them brakes on the front. They are massive. There's actually cars on the road with smaller wheels than the size of them brakes. They are humongous. And the other thing, obviously telltale sign, is you got these M5 vent grills. Now this one comes with Singapore grey exterior, and it's like a red interior, and I think it looks fantastic. It looks superb, that does. Not a big fan of like the darker colour interiors on these cars. I know a lot of people, it depends what you're buying for, but I suppose, but I prefer the brighter colours on the inside and darker on the outside. It just looks so stunning. So, oh, it's also, this is standard on them as well. It's got like a really small lip spoiler on the boot lid. So the interior, because this is a 2013 car, so it's a facelift, so it comes with the different steering wheel. I'm not 100% sure as to what the other differences are on these, but it's got the better looking steering wheel. Flappy paddles again, these are fantastic. On standard sort of flappy paddles on most cars, they look a bit very short and stubby and stuff, but these are actually, you can see them. And again, it's got DCT, I believe it is, gearbox, heated seats, sat nav, all the usual, you know, mod cons. It is a luxury family saloon, but they've just strapped a 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo 560 odd brake horsepower engine to one, and it's, I mean, look at this thing, it's absolutely stunning. So I know this car has actually got a couple of other options as well. Not 100% sure what the full list of options is, but I'll try and make a note of it in the description. I'll have a look into that. But it's got like your keyless entry, it's got heads-up display, Harman Kardon sound system, and it's also got the rear heater controls. Automatic lights, which again is fairly standard on most cars. And then the big thing about these cars is you get M1 and M2. Now you can program these to whatever you want them to do, so you can switch traction off, gearbox settings, you can set to, so it's a quicker gear change through that button there, steering, put it in sports mode, suspension sports mode. You can actually mess about with a lot of these settings. These M5s and all these BMW M-Power cars, they have quite a few different sort of features on them where you can mess about with the gearbox, and I've never seen another car with so many settings on the gearbox, and it's a very good feature, to be fair. It's awesome. You can make it change gear really slowly, or you can make it so it's really snappy and hard, but when you're driving it a bit spiritedly, it's actually very good when you've got a quick gear change. The dials, obviously it goes to 200 miles an hour, which it won't do in standard form because they're electronically limited to 155. Again, I've read stories where they will go over 155 even on in standard form. But after you've played about with them, you know, stage 2, 700 plus, upwards of 700, even 800 horsepower, they will, I've got no doubt, they will hit very close to 200 miles an hour. And that's in a 4-door family saloon. Perfect recipe, that is perfect. And with it being a 4-door family saloon, you still get a massive boot. You can fit plenty of bodies in there. Let's put it that way. Plenty of bodies in there. So there's the actual heart of this thing. The 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo charged engine. And it's an absolute monster. Absolute monster. I've been told this car has actually had the fuel pumps replaced, which is a common problem with these cars. They don't know what happens to them, but they get turned faulty and you have to get them replaced. And it's a big job as well. I think it was, the owner told me it's just shy of £1,000 or around £1,000, which is quite a big sort of thing. But they have 2 pumps, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means. But I mean, just look at it. That is such a monstrous engine. It feels, the whole engine bay is actually very big, but the actual engine on this car completely and utterly takes over the whole thing. Some cars you get with massive gaps at the front here and stuff and on the sides, but this thing is just completely and utterly taken over by this 4.4 V8 twin turbo charged monstrous lump. Right, so what we'll do is then, guys, we'll go for a little drive just to give you guys a feel of what it actually feels like. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like I've said, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles, and check us out on Instagram, Performance_Lifestyles, on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. You know, we've been providing content regularly and we're trying our best to keep it going, you know, on a weekly sort of thing. As if you've got your own channel, if you're into this sort of stuff, then it's, you know, it takes a long time, but we're there providing content. Help us grow, folks. We'll catch you on the drive. We're back in this epic M5. Honestly, just even having the pleasure of driving this thing is putting a smile on my face. This is an absolutely bloody awesome car. It's such a fantastic car. I've had a bit of a soft spot for the M5s for a long time, but I've always thought of them as I like mine to be a bit raw, and these are they're like a comfortable cruiser. And after driving this one, it's such a great car. I've had an E60 M5 many moons ago, and they're the naturally aspirated 5-litre V10, 500 horsepower when you put them into sports mode, I think it was, and 410 odd when you're in normal mode. And they actually felt like a normal car when you were driving them. So there was nothing really exciting about them until you put them into sports mode and you unleashed the 500 brake horsepower, and then they were an absolute savage. But these, my personal opinion is these things are on a completely different level. You drive them, I mean, I'm driving it in normal mode now. It's completely, you know, it's in automatic and it's in like the slowest gearbox settings and just comfort sort of mode. And you could tell you're still driving something special. It's still got that grunt, it's still got that low down grunt, it's still got and it's got a presence on the road. You could tell an M5, I think. If you're a car person, you could tell one from a distance. But if you're not, then yeah, they're a bit of a discreet car. You look at the back and you think, why has somebody stuck 4 exhaust pipes on it and an M5 badge on? But quite frankly, this is just what these are all about. They're designed to do just that. Be discreet, but yet be a monster when you want them to be. So the moment you put it into your M1 or your M2 modes, and you know, which you can adjust to your own sort of settings, they turn into an absolute savage. And Zish, whose car this is, he's actually, I believe, put into M2. Oh, when you press the M2 button, it actually asks you, are you sure you want to do this? And there you go, it's already dropping gears, heads up display, rev counters come on, and it just livens up quite a lot. It's very difficult to believe that you're driving a family saloon car. They're refined, very refined, comfortable. You don't even know what speed you're doing until you look down and you think, wow. I can only imagine what one of these, when they're remapped and, you know, pushing more power drive like, they must drive absolutely mega. Because this one in standard power sort of mode is a savage. It pulls like a train. And like I mentioned on the actual walk around, apparently they are limited to 155 miles per hour. I've never tried anything like that, and I'm sure many people have on private roads or over in Mexico. But the moment you get them de-restricted or you get them remapped and, you know, 700 plus, north 700 horsepower, I can imagine they turn into tire shredding monsters. When you're driving it around, I mean, I'll go back into normal sort of mode, and they quite literally, they drive very comfortable, very refined. This one has got a stainless steel exhaust on it, so you do hear that V8 grumble in the background. It's a very good note. I think it's a very good note. You want to be able to hear them. I'm not a big fan of the idea of these cars being discreet, and looks wise, yes, but when it comes to the noise and stuff, they've got the power, should we say, they've got the bite to back up their barks. So why not have the bark there? Newer cars, they have like a valved exhaust system, and I believe on these it might actually be the same as that on standard, but with this one having a stainless steel exhaust, it sounds very good. Very good. You put it into M2 and all the actual suspension, the steering, gearbox, everything goes into a full-on ASBO mode, and it's a savage, absolute savage. It's actually very difficult to absorb how quick these cars are. BMW have done such a fantastic job of these things. Fantastic job. Hats off to them. It's like a plane taking off, this thing. What a beast. What a beast. And from like a driving point of view, you have everything here that you need. It's got electric seats, and as soon as you jump into the car, I can actually feel the bolsters on this thing just kind of like enclosing in, and they're tightening up around you. And it just gives you that bit more confidence around when you're spiritedly driving this thing, and it's just a very hugging sort of feeling. And it's a good feeling. It's a very, very good feeling. So you've got, like I mentioned before, satellite navigation, heated seats, dual climate control, or even quad climate control with the back ones. Like a digital sort of display going on here in front of me. Such a beautiful car. Such a beautiful car. And they will average, around circa 20 miles to the gallon around town if you drive them sensible. Whereas the predecessors, the E60 M5, all I remember of that thing is when I had one, it was just thirsty regardless of how you drove it. But yeah, this thing is a bit forgiving as well on the fuel consumption side of things. And the moment you switch traction control off and everything, then it becomes unforgiving, because there's quite literally not a lot of margin for error. So if you've never experienced anything really powerful and rear wheel drive, which is what this is, then I'd say just get used to them before you start opening them up. So here what we'll do is first gear, no launch control or nothing, just quite literally put your foot down. It's amazing. This car is just amazing. You can actually have a full car, you can have your family in the car, and the moment you put your foot down, they would not even tell that you're doing the speeds that you are doing. So refined, so well built. There's no rattles, there's no knocks, there's no bangs, there's absolutely nothing. It's quite literally, you put your foot down and this thing just goes. I mean, today it is a scorching day, so it helps with traction. But on a rainy day, I could only imagine this thing is going to be really tail happy. Really tail happy. And yet again, that is another BMW characteristic. When you look around on the internet, you hear a lot of people talking about this heads-up display on any BMW M-Power car, not necessarily the M5. And some people actually say it's just a bit of a gimmick and it's this. And to be fair, I was probably one of them people that thought it's not really something that would really bother me. But now, having driven this, if I was to ever buy an M-Power BMW of like the new age sort of cars, it would need to have heads-up display. It's such a great feature, that is. Such a great feature. Oh look, we've got a Supra. Haven't seen one of them around before. Awesome cars. It's BMW as well, actually, these new ones. So yeah, I mean, this, like I said, it's got... The gear change on it is sharp, snappy, instant. There's no, there's no lag. There's no... Some cars you actually get... The E46 M3s were... Or the E60, sorry, M5 was one of them where... When you're driving it normal, you engage gear and it's not overly quick. It's just always very, very aggressive. But this one, even in like a full-on sports mode, there's no aggression to it. It just switches gear like this, even at low RPM, and even when you're driving it completely and utterly normal, it still switches gear like this, and it's a nice feeling. And with that exhaust note going off in the background, you could tell it's changing like bang, 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 bang. It's great. It's great. That's the key word for this video is great. these M5s are literally them cars where, you know, you get some little boy racer park up next to you in his Citroen or Peugeot or Fiesta or something, and they'll look at you and they'll think, yeah, I'm gonna have this BM today. And automatically the M5 just thinks, no, you're not, mate. And the moment you put your foot down, it's like, wow. They've probably never seen something shift so quick. These cars get to 60 miles an hour like it's a breeze. I think it's around 4.5 seconds for a tank this big to get from 0 to 60. And that is such a epic sort of figure. And like I mentioned, the moment you start tuning these up, they're a monster in standard form, and a tuned up one would be an absolute beast of a car. Such a beast, and I couldn't imagine, to be fair. I'd love to drive one, to be fair. One that's been played about with. It'll be an experience, should we say. It's mind-boggling, this thing. The 7-speed gearbox is great. Zap, 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 and you're gone. There's not many cars out there that will give you that feeling. No chance. But the M5 is best of both worlds, and you know, they're rivals to the actual RS6, the E63 AMG, and the E63s and RS6s are fantastic cars. The RS6 probably has a quicker 0 to 60 time out of the trio, purely because of the Quattro 4-wheel drive system, whereas the other two are rear-wheel drive, as with most BMs and Mercs. But it does not take anything away from these two, though. On a dry day, you put your foot down and you're gone. Simple, gone. And there just happens to be an S1000 RR in front of us. Great bikes. We will hopefully get onto some bike content in the very near future as well, so just watch out for that. I think he's one up, so he's actually noticed there's probably an M5 in his rearview mirror and he's not having it. He's not playing game. Here we go again. It's like that gear change is crisp. BMW have done such an epic job of this M5, or the M5e F10 range in general, to be fair. They've created a masterpiece. It quite literally just goes through the gears rapidly. And it's not just the gears, it's the way it just picks up, plows over the road, and it's... Because like I mentioned before, they have 560 odd brake horsepower, and if I remember correctly, they're about just over 500 pounds-foot of torque. So way over 600 Newton meters of torque, however you want to look at it. But whatever it is, it's plenty of bhp and plenty of torque. I can only imagine, like I mentioned before, on a bit of a damp day, it probably wouldn't fill you with confidence if you're not used to driving a rear-wheel drive. I mean, the back tyres are massive, they're out so wide, but it'll still get your heart racing. Now, if you want an M5 and you don't really want one that's quite brash, in your face sort of thing, like the bigger wheels and stuff, so they are a bit of a telltale sign to an M5. You could buy these, I mean, with the smaller wheels and no tinted windows and nothing like that at all, and they do actually look very, very discreet, really discreet, more so than one of these. Because like I mentioned, if you're a car person, you could probably guess that this is an M5 purely just by looking at the thing. But if you're not, there's still something about them, but with the big wheels and, you know, the blue massive brakes on them. But if you want one that's completely and utterly just doesn't give it away that it's an M5, you can buy them as well in the standard sort of format, smaller wheels, like a multi-spoke style of wheel. But again, each to their own. But for me, it's got to be one with this kind of a spec. You can buy these actually with a comfort sort of seats as well, which have the moulding headrest and mould around your head and stuff. It's a good little feature, but again, it's not essential. I personally don't believe. Singapore grey, I think, is one of the best colours you can buy these in. Esteril blue is a common BMW sort of colour that a lot of people opt for, but for me it's got to be something a little bit different. There's these, you don't see that many of them around as well, plus more so with the red interior. The interior is fantastic on this. The Singapore grey, the red interior, it's a great feature. It's a great feature. It kind of like sets it off quite nicely compared to the outside. And again, we're driving it in comfort steering, comfort suspension, efficient sort of mode, and you could just put it along like this for hours on end and never even have the slight bit of inkling that you're driving a, you know, just a sub 600 brake horsepower machine. You'd actually forget that you're driving an M5. You probably think you're driving a 520D until somebody tries it with you, and then you just have to show. You just have to do it. You just have to plant that lead foot of yours and just get gone, as long as it's a dry day. Fantastic cars overall. Fantastic cars. Like I mentioned, I've liked them. I was a big fan of the E60s, especially the noise that they made. That 5-litre V10 grumble that they made was fantastic, was great. But these, having driven this F10 M5 now, I think, yeah, it was very difficult to beat the is my point. It was very difficult to beat the E60 M5. But I think BMW, you know, back in 2011 when these first come out, did a great job of improving an already impressive car. I mean, don't be fooled that in comfort mode that these cars are slow. No cylinders shut down, no nothing like that. They're still powerhouse. Just got to hold on to the steering wheel tightly. Right then guys, I'm going to conclude the video here for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. It's you know, it's an awesome M5 and got the opportunity there to do it, so I thought we'd get it out there just so you guys can see what it's all about. Mega cars. If you've ever considered buying one, I suggest go ahead and do it. Seriously, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you get one that's had all the right, correct maintenance work done, and you won't be disappointed. They're very reliable cars. The E60s, I know they were notorious for having a few bits and bobs that were failing on them SMG pumps and stuff, but the F10 M5 was designed with reliability in mind as well, so, and they've lived up to their reputation. So yeah, again, thank you very much for watching the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles, for more performance car reviews. We've got plenty of videos already uploaded on there, so please do check them out. And we've got plenty of content to come, so do click on that bell notification just so you know when we've uploaded another video. Yeah, check us out on Instagram as well, performance_lifestyles, and Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. Stay safe everybody, as per usual, and we will catch you on the next one.